Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Expats in Business. Our today's session, Business in Poland as a Foreigner. We want you to know how to register your business, the different types of registering businesses, and how your residency can impact the options for you to choose which is the best for you.
What is expat in business from our perspective, right? So that we wanted to know what you think from your perspective as well. It is a continuation that we try to carry on, because previous session we were talking about legal residency here, and then we are trying to connect it with the business, how to register business, and then we have a follow-up series as the next question is what do I need from EIB? This obviously on this session as well as the other type of session that what we had just to network with people, we enable that.
Whether you are just starting your business, you are thinking about it, or you are in the process, this is going to be very beneficial for you.
I am an attorney at law and I am the member of the Regional Chambers of Attorneys here in Krakow. I specialize mainly in migration law and I work with migrants in Poland for more than 10 years. First thing we have to think about when we decide to open our own business is choosing one main distinction between a different form of businesses that you can actually register and that you can actually run here in Poland. You are your business and your business is you, and there is no distinction between one and the other. Maybe one more thing that I will mention. Once you register your business, nobody asks you what kind of residence permit you have.
It's the third time since we are hosting the Expats in Business. We are a city co-founded project that is dedicated to Krakowians.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Expats in Business. I am very thrilled to see our community growing and many new faces. Today's session is our guest speaker session, and we have a very, very special guest, which we will introduce later on. Our today's session, we are going to talk about business in Poland as a foreigner. We have decided that this is going to be a good session for you because of the importance of the choice of making the business registration. We want you to know how to register your business, the different types of registering businesses, and how your residency can impact the options for you to choose which is the best for you. The agenda today, first we are going to talk about the purpose, why we chose this topic, and the second one is going to be the guest speaker session, and Anna is going to talk in details about the topic. If I can ask from you right now to go to slido.com, please, and we're going to make a little quiz, and I will need you to answer some few questions. And there will be quick questions for you. It will be very helpful if you answer them. Okay, I think we are done. Thank you very much for your presentation. Now I'm going to give the mic for Z, who is the founder of Expats in Business, and he will give his word.
Yeah, so thank you, Shaima. So as always, I was talking mostly different topics, so we thought of changing how we normally present. So we talked about what is expat in business from our perspective, right? So that we wanted to know what you think from your perspective as well. That is why we have this Slido. So most of you think that it is a network for expat entrepreneurs to grow their businesses, and so we have different choices as well. About 25% I saw are new here, so they haven't been on any 29% I think, so they haven't been here for the sessions before, which is also a good thing, because today when I check the faces that I see, there's a half of them are new, and then there's recurring faces, but I don't see also some of the people who was coming for the sessions before, maybe they have something, or the topic is not interesting for them, or they already have some business with them. Also, I wanted to make this one interactive as well, just to ask from the audience, what do you think? 1 or 2 persons, if they can volunteer, and because they came, someone who came for the session before, if they can tell based on what is going on, what they have seen, what is really expat in business, what are they trying to do, what are we trying to do, then I can go into the next topics. So who wanted to volunteer from the people who is coming in but not a member? I see couple of faces here.
Yes, it's for me to connect to people, but more also to learn more about the things like the law part of it, like how to get residency or etc. All those things, which will help in this business path, right? And also to get some new ideas and to have some new projects hopefully soon. So that is the idea for me.
Someone who is new, like, who had no idea before they came into the session that like it is a continuation that we try to carry on, because previous session we were talking about legal residency here, like, and then we are trying to connect it with the business, how to register business, and then we have a follow-up series as well, like, what we are trying to do. So who wanted to volunteer? Someone new?
I've heard this is more like a meetup for people interested in business entrepreneurship. But, today I'm learning that you also have some sessions and specific topics and guest speakers and things like that. So that sounds quite interesting as well. Yeah.
Basically, before you came to the session, you didn't know that there's guest speaker sessions and stuff like that, which is good, yeah? So that brings to the next one, yeah? So you are new, and then you didn't know, like, what we were doing. So how can you be up to date with EIB activities, right? So there's some QR code, or like if you go and type Expats in Business, what you see on the tag, like, Expats in Business on Facebook, Instagram, for an example, or LinkedIn even, like we are trying to create a page, you will be able to find about us. And we create all the events on there, and we have a WhatsApp group which is like mostly up to date, like we put all the information there so that you can be in touch with us. So you might be participating as a speaker, okay, you might be participating as a participant, or you wanted to contribute to the sessions, which you will see on the next one. The next question is like, what do I need from EIB, right? So we were asking that question as well. Like Hannah was explaining that she was looking into to network with people, which is a good thing actually. This obviously on this session as well as the other type of session that what we had, just to network with people, we enable that. So that's how we got to know about them, Asha and Hannah, as well as the others, yeah? So apart from that, what do you need? So we are gonna have like, surveys and polls done. So just to understand what you do, what area that you are in, we have done couple. So we will try to do more and more again so that we will be able to see more information. So I will try to end up quickly to give Anna so that she can talk about the topic which is for today. But I just wanted to bring up a couple of more important points, like 4 points to be precise. So what is next? Yeah. So you might be wondering what is next, because we have this kind of a sessions and what is going to come. Yeah. So we have the virtual connect session. So we are planning that. So I'm slowly adding the people who wanted to participate on the virtual connect session, as well as the cultural exchange session. So what is that and what is it for? So virtual session is like, people who is not even in Krakow, if they wanted to participate, tell a story, like their expertise. So this is for them. And then cultural exchange session, it's for like people who have things like restaurants, like they're doing a business, food business or something else. It doesn't need to be something with food, but it can be something representing your culture, like clothing, maybe travel, things like that. So this is where business people are in. So we wanted to connect with them as well. So if you are like you are doing something different or what we do normally, so this is also for you. So as I said, you find all this information, like the QR code, like, if you type it on Facebook or Instagram, you will find all this information. So stay in touch. More details will be followed on the upcoming series as well, so that you will find all this information on the videos. So thank you very much. Shaima, you can take it.
So our team, the wonderful people who made this happen, who are here today to record this session and to organize it. We have Z, the founder. We have Shamila, me, myself, Bautik, Andrian, Daniel, Izem, Swarup, Vardan, and 2 of our newest members, Etienne and Anna. Thank you very much, all of you, because of your help and for making this possible. And you are part of this great community. The purpose. So the big question is, why are we talking about this right now? The first reason is supporting expats in their entrepreneurial journey. We know how difficult it is when you are in a new environment, in a new country, and you cannot navigate your way into unfamiliar laws or unfamiliar conditions and how to start your business. We as a group or as a team, we have took it upon ourselves to try our best to connect and to organize these sessions to help you through your journey. The second thing is a tailored approach to starting a business in Poland. What you will see from the session today is that there are a lot of options. There isn't only one. And we are here to present as much possibility, as much options for you, so you will be sure that you took the right option. Why? Because, for example, taxations. You choosing a specific registration for your business can actually make the difference. And why is it important to choose the right business registration? There is a legal and financial impact. It will be tailoring to your residential status. Your residency actually has an effect. What are the possibilities for you to register your business and to maximize long-term success? We are here also your team, and we are here to support you, and we are here to benefit everyone because we were you before. Whether you are just starting your business, you are thinking about it, or you are in the process, this is gonna be very beneficial for you. And today we have a very, very special guest, a seasoned lawyer from the Info Point for immigrants, and she is here to share her knowledge. Please pay attention, take the most of it. This is a great opportunity for you, and I hope everyone will benefit from this. Anna, we are welcoming you.
Good evening, actually, everyone. It's my first time with Expats in Business, and I must say I'm really in awe about how it is organized and what it looks like. I even have a special mic, so I feel like I'm a TED speaker today a little bit. So maybe it would have been much better than speaking as a lawyer. Yeah, so as was already mentioned, I am an attorney at law, and I am the member of the regional chambers of attorneys here in Krakow. And I specialize mainly in migration law, and I work with migrants in Poland for more than 10 years. Like, my main area of expertise is all the issues which regard the legalization of your stay, so applying for residence permits, different kind of residence permits, also those which are based on business activity, but also different kind of, for example, protection statuses in Poland. So I've been doing this for many, many years now. I cooperate with the Multicultural Center and with the Migrant Info Point here in Krakow, so I'm also especially happy that we can host such meetings in here. I think this is like a great initiative because I think that like networking and having friends is like absolutely crucial to having a business, especially in a different country, because yes, you can go to a session like this with me, yes, you can go and speak to a lawyer privately, but also I think that like from experience, what works really well is if you have a friend which is like on the same journey as you and maybe on the same path and on the same stages, and then you just call them like, listen, I have to fill in this form for social security, did you do it? Yeah, I did it yesterday. Okay, can you send me? Okay, great. So I think can really appreciate the community like that. So basically the first thing we have to think about when we decide to open our own business is choosing your business structure. And here you have like one main distinction between a different form of businesses that you can actually register and that you can actually run here in Poland, and I guess also in different jurisdictions. Now, the main difference will be between the business which you register as an individual and the business where you already register as a corporate. So what does it mean practically? If you can register a business as an individual, so meaning like you personally are the entity that is running a business, or a corporate. So basically you create a separate legal entity which will be like running your business. The main difference from like the practical point of view would be that if you have an individual business, like as an individual you register a business, then you are liable with all your assets and with all your money for everything your business does. So basically you are your business and your business is you, and there is no distinction between one and the other. Also, if for example somebody wants to sue you, or if you want to sue somebody, you would not sue a company, but basically you will sue a person, or you will be sued as a person. Okay, so this is like if you register an individual business, main example is of course like one-man business, one-man company. And now it's different of course with the corporate, because if you do corporate, then you create a completely separate legal entity which is separate from you, and also it has assets that is separate from you. So in case you run into some problems, then you will not be responsible with your personal money and with your personal finances for any kind of issues that may arise. So for example, if you are running a business which is like a large scale and if there is like a big financial risks, then it will be much more beneficial for you to register, to go to the business, corporate business structure than registering business individual. Yes, okay, and of course like the main example that we will have and like the most popular one that people would register would be the limited liability company. Okay, so this is where you create like this separate entity that is separate from you. The first main difference would be liability, whether you are responsible with all your personal assets, all the money you made, the apartment, the car, whatever, or if you have a separate company which is responsible. And the second one is also in taxation, because if you are an individual, then also like all the income that your company, that your business creates, it's your personal income, right? So you will only pay the personal income tax. But in case of corporate, you will be taxed let's say there is kind of a double taxation, you will be taxed twice. Because first it is your company as this completely separate legal entity that is making profit and that has the income, and this income is taxed. And then if you want to actually get the money for you, like the salary for you, then again you get an income as an individual, and then again you will have to pay the tax from that. So this is like on the negative side of the corporate business structure. So you can of course choose if you want to go into individual or if you want to go into corporate, but you have to also look at the limitations which concern the legal basis of your stay in Poland, because I think it is not very widely known that actually if you are a foreigner here, then not every foreigner can go into the individual and can actually register a one-man company, which is the simplest, which is the least expensive, and where also, as I mentioned, you will not be taxed twice for more or less the same income. Because the general rule is that if you are a foreigner here in Poland, then you should register. If you want to run your business, then you should go into the corporate model. So basically, you have the right to open a limited liability corporation, a limited liability company, but you are unfortunately not allowed to register a one-man business. Only there are some exceptions, but the general rule is that. So basically you have to prepare yourself, especially if you are new here, that you will have to go into the corporate structure. Now, of course, there are exceptions because some foreigners may register the business on the same basis and based on the same rules as the Polish citizens, but this is an exception. And now, what are the exceptions? So the first one and the most common one is when you already have the permanent residency here in Poland. So either you have like the permanent stay or you have the EU permanent resident status. So I think the permanent EU resident is something you already spoke about in a session before. So more or less you know how to apply for it and who can get it. So basically once you already spend the 5 years here in Poland and you get your permanent residency status, then it will be possible for you to open a one-man business. Otherwise, no. So some other exceptions that we have is like if you have the refugee status or if you have the temporary protection. Then also, so for example, the citizens of Ukraine who come here and who get the temporary protection, they can, even though they only came recently, they didn't spend those 5 years, they will be able to open a one-man business. Another example is, for example, if you are a full-time student and if you have your residence permit issued based on your full-time studies. Then also it will be possible for you to open a one-man business and also then continue after you actually graduate and after you actually finish your studies, you will still be able to do that. One more exception is also for the situations of family reunification. So if you are here based, for example, on work or a blue card and you have the possibility to get a residence permit, for example, for your spouse based on the family reunification scheme, then for your spouse it will also be possible to go into the individual business structure. So these are some of the most common exceptions. But basically I think this is very important to remember because I think there are many people who come here and especially in the first 1 to 3 years while they still have their temporary residence permit, they already want to go into business. But then when you realize that actually you cannot run like a simple one-man business, but you already have to register the corporate type of business, it gets complicated and a lot of people actually decide not to do it right now and maybe to wait. Yes, okay, so again, some other exceptions. So if you already make a decision and you want to go into business and actually it would be very important for you to have the individual one, then it is good to have like some detailed consultation to see if maybe there is some other exception that would apply to you. Yeah, but basically, as I mentioned, the permanent residency, the full-time students, the family reunification, or the protection statuses will only allow you to open one-man business.
Those exceptions, and that it's said that any foreigner can register one-man company. And
so basically, because there is a separate legal act which concerns that, and this is the Act on Entrepreneurship of Foreign Entities here in Poland. I mean, it has a complicated Polish name. If you want, then later I can give you the exact name. But also at the end of my presentation, I am giving you some links to some websites where you can find more information. Unfortunately, all this information, I will already say it now, will be in Polish because they don't really provide good information in English. You will be able to use the Google Translate or something like that, hopefully, to to read a little bit more, because also some government website, they would, they would be in Polish, and then they would indicate that they have also the English version. But once you click on the English version, you have 2 sentences in English, and then all the rest is again in Polish, okay? Yeah, but hopefully you will still be able to use them and get some more information from there.
All those exceptions that you mentioned, are those only for corporate, or are they for both corporate and individual?
No, because the general rule is if you are a foreigner in Poland and you want to run a business, you should register a limited liability company, okay, or some other types of corporate type of company, okay? And only in some exceptions you can actually open a one-man business company, okay? So the exceptions are for the individual one-man business. These are the exceptions, okay? So in general, if you come here and you only have the temporary residence permit, you should be obliged to actually register an LLC, okay? And once you get your permanent residency status, then you will be able to open a one-man business, a one-man individual company.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, just there is no another possibility for opening company. For instance, for me, I'm not on these conditions, and also I don't have permanent residency. So there is no possibility to open a company, even entrepreneurship.
No, I mean, you can open the company, but the question is about the type of company, okay? Because here again, you can open like you can do also the previous slide, because you have the individual type, okay, of business activity. So here you come to the office and you say, I want to be, I want to be an entrepreneur, okay? So I am actually the entrepreneur, okay? So if something happens with my business, so for example, and I will owe somebody some money, right? Then this person can come and take everything I have. They can take my car, they can take my house, they can take whatever, okay? Because my business is me, we are the same, okay? This is the individual business. I am the individual entrepreneur, okay? And then the corporate type is when you actually create, like legally, you have to imagine that you have like a completely separate person, okay? So you are giving birth to a completely separate person, which will have its own assets and which is like completely like separate from you. Okay, so the idea is also that if something wrong happens and you only have like a temporary status in Poland and there is some liability, then still the company exists. So even if you leave, for example, then still the company exists and the company has some assets, okay? So this is why I think this is the idea behind the why the legal rules are like that.
What is the Polish name of this individual structure?
Jednoosobowa działalność gospodarcza.
Hi, I had one of my friends had some case. He was on temporary residence permit, and he managed to have the one business or individual company, and that was a special case because his wife was Polish citizen. It was longer process, not like the Polish citizen, but at the end he managed to do that, and the only exception because he has a Polish partner.
Yeah, exactly. Because as I said, there are some exceptions. I mentioned some general ones, but as I said, if you want to go into more details and you want to see, then it is good to have the individual consultation, because I mentioned the family reunification scheme, but also having a spouse who is a Polish citizen will also allow you and will also, like having a temporary residence permit plus being a spouse of a Polish citizen is also one of the exemptions, right? So basically, I mean, we are not able to, list all the exceptions that there are. I only mentioned the general ones, but yes, indeed, this is the case. In this situation, it is also possible to register like this individual type of business activity. So thank you very much for sharing and for mentioning that, because also like some people can benefit from that as well. Maybe one more thing that I will mention, once you register your business, nobody asks you what kind of residence permit you have. So basically you can come with a temporary residence permit and register like the single person, like the one-man business, and they will not ask you. But the problems may arise later while somebody actually checks what are you doing and how and on what basis.
I wanted to ask again about the exceptions. Is there an exception regarding being graduate of a Polish university? So not having an active student status, but being actually a graduate?
Well, no, but there are some leeways in case you are a graduate, because basically if you are running a business, then also this is considered work, so you need a work permit. So if you apply for a work permit to be able to run your business and you finished the studies, like you graduated no longer than 3 years ago, then it will be much easier for you to get a work permit, okay? But it is not in the exceptions, okay? That being a graduate is not an exception allowing you to open a one-man business. It's easier to run the business a little bit, but it doesn't allow you to do that. Yeah, exactly. So going back to the question about the one-man business and what it is called, so the full Polish name is really complicated, but we would basically use the letters. So if you Google that, you will know, okay? Because this is like the government system for registering the individual business type of activity, and also they publish a lot of information about that. Then there is the register of all the business activities. So if you Google that, then you should be able to find some information, and this is basically where you go and how you look for more information. So this is also why it's here as the first thing on the slide. Okay, so if you are opening a sole proprietorship, or this is like the more formal name, or like a one-man business, is a procedure that is really simple and that is free. Because basically this is the administrative procedure, because if you will go to the corporate, you will have to go to the courts, to the tribunals, and so on and so on. Here, this is a quite simple administrative procedure, and there are no fees for registering a company. So you can do it completely for free, and basically you can do it in an hour. You can do it both in person and you can do it online. To do it online, you need the so-called trusted profile. So I think this is something you might already heard about and that you might already know. But basically you can do it like sitting at your home in your pajamas in front of your computer, and not paying anything. You can actually open and register a sole proprietorship. Now, what you have to do before, because you have to think and prepare yourself in order to register. I mean, because you only like fill in like some simple forms online, and it's that. The main issue, I guess, is that it's in the Polish language. So this will be the biggest barrier. Still, there are some things that you have to think about before registering. So yeah, the best thing to think about is like creating your own name, because you will need your name. I mean, your name and surname will be included, but also you can add some other name of your company. So this is like the nicest part of creating your business, I think, and the more relaxed. And then another thing that you will need for your company will be the address. And I want to talk a little bit about it, because basically it doesn't mean that you actually have to rent like super nice offices or something like that, because you can even register your own business in your flat where you are staying. This is also possible. You just have to provide some kind of address. So if you want to run a business that doesn't actually require you to have, I don't know, a shop or some other type of offices, you can do it from your home, and this is fine. The only thing is that if you are doing it from your own flat that you own, or maybe you are renting a flat, especially if you are renting a flat, you need to have signed agreement from the owner of the flat that allows you to actually register the company at this address. Why? Because there are some additional taxes that have to be paid if the business is registered at your address. So of course it is possible, but make sure that you have like a permission from the owner of the apartment, and the permission should be in writing. So it can either be in your rental contract, or you can have a separate document, but please make sure to have this in writing, because once you register, it is highly possible that the tax office will actually contact you, and they will ask you to see this kind of document that you actually are allowed to register your business at this address. One more possibility is also you have those virtual type of addresses, okay? So this is also something you can do. So you have companies that actually rent you the address where you can provide if you want to register a business. And one more thing that you will have to decide on, again, the Polish letters that you can Google, because in Poland, like all the types of business activities that exist, they are in the special registry and they have special codes. So you need to go through those types of activities and through those codes, and you need to choose the ones that actually you will be doing in your business. You have to choose that, okay? So basically you have two documents. One is this huge list of types of businesses, and then you have another document which explains like what does this category exactly mean. And then you have to read it in detail, because the way it is constructed is for example, you have the hairdresser with the code, I don't know, Z22 is a hairdresser. Okay, so you are, yeah, great, I found my own code. But then if you go to the explanation is, yes, the code Z22 includes hairdresser, but only the one that cuts hair and not the one that is dyeing hair, because dyeing hair is actually under the code Z23. You have to read both those codes and those explanations, and you have to choose the correct ones for your company. This will also be important for you again in the future, because this is like a formal requirement, so that like we know what you're doing. But also, for example, if you will be issuing invoices, if you will be paying taxes, this might also be important, the codes that you choose. So for example, if you are thinking about opening your business, it is good to speak with your tax advisor, also from the view of choosing the right codes for the business that you will actually be running. Of course, this is also something that you can change in the future, but well, since you're already starting, it is good to have a good basis. Now, another thing that you will have to choose if you are registering an individual, like one-man business, is the type of taxation. Now, the tax law in Poland is like the whole completely different universe, okay? And I am not a tax advisor, so I really don't want to go there. And my advice to you is actually to get a tax advisor and to get yourself a very good accountant, because the Polish tax law is very complicated. And right now we had some changes which made it even complicated. I will maybe leave it at that here. Maybe I will just mention that you will have the three main types. Once you go to the registration process, they will ask you, and they give you like 3 or 5 types of taxation that you can choose. So one of those will be the general rules, and this is something that actually most of the people here in Poland that run their businesses choose. So this is where you will be paying 120,000 of income, and then if you get more income, then you have 32% of that. The second method you can choose is where you pay always 19% of the income, and you don't have like these stages like between income, like the lower income and the higher income. Then, for example, you have the possibility to choose a lump sum. So this is for those who don't really generate much costs in their activity. But basically, you have those 3 types and you have to choose one. Again, the general rules is something that most of the people choose, but it is good to consult with a specialist before you actually decide on the specific one that you will go with.
And I've been through this. And I just want to mention everyone that what is important, you mentioned that those PKD, PKD in Polish, it's very tricky also in terms of taxation, because based on what kind of type of business you do, so based on what kind of code you choose, it impacts a lot what kind of tax you can pay and what makes sense. In the Ryczałt is lump sum. In the lump sum option, it can be, you can have 8% tax, but you can go up to, I don't know, much more, like 30 or something. So based on what you actually do, your activity is, you can, it's gonna verify how much, what amount, and that's where exactly the tax lawyer has to step in if you want to make sure and never pay any kind of penalty. So it's tricky, but once you get into a good specialist, they're gonna help you go through it. But their services usually also cost quite a lot of money, but it's worth investing to not get into trouble with taxation office. So so that's just what I wanted to add as a tip.
Yes, thank you very much. Very useful. And yes, exactly. Very, very important. Yeah, I mean, in Poland, basically, because with the taxation, there is also I am in the Chamber of Legal Advisors and of Attorneys, but there is also a Chamber of Tax Advisors. They are called doradca podatkowy. And they are good people because they have to pass a government exam to actually be able to do that job. So if you choose someone, that it is good actually to check that they are the member of this chamber. Not necessarily, of course, because there may be people with huge and with years of experience, but still this is maybe some kind of tip for you if you will be going there. Yeah. So this is about taxation. And then once you register and you do your registration, then also you will need 3 more things. NIP, so this is like your personal tax number, tax identity number, and this will be something that should be done automatically. So once you go through the registration process, they should automatically inform the tax office, and if you don't have this NIP number yet, then the tax office will generate one for you. And then REGON, this is also a number that your business has, and this is for statistical reasons only, okay? But you need to know this number, and this is also something that you will get automatically. And then one more thing that you will have, you also need to be registered with a ZUS, so with the Social Security. And basically, again, the general idea is that once you register, then they will forward this information to ZUS, Social Security Office. And then they will do the registration for you, because some time ago, it was really advertised in Poland. Right now, registering business, you can do it in one place only. It was called one window, because at one window you can do everything. So basically, yes, they will register you with those, but they will only register you as the one who pays, but you also has to be registered as the one who is being paid for. So also please remember that once you have your business registered, you will have 7 days also to contact ZUS and to also register yourself with the ZUS. And here we are getting to one more important point, because the taxation we mentioned, so this is one of the things you have to think about financially, But another one is the whole social security system, because once you become an entrepreneur and once you register your one business company, then you will be obliged in general to pay the social security. And I'm mentioning this because if you pay the full monthly fee for the social security, this is like 1,600 zloty, okay? So this is an amount that may not be negligible. So you have to be careful, like once you register, you have to be aware that you will be obliged to actually pay the social security for you monthly. So now this amount that I mentioned, this is like the general amount, but also if you are only opening your business, then there are some special preferential rules. So for example, if you go to ZUS, then they will tell you that for the first 6 months, you will not, you don't have this obligation to pay for the social security, okay? So on one hand, yes, great, because, okay, it will at least save some money in the beginning. But on the other hand, you have to remember that if you are not employed somewhere else, then actually you will not have the social security, you will not be covered. So for example, also for that period, you will not have the health insurance, okay? So again, it will be up to you to choose, but there are some preferential conditions like that. And also there are other preferential terms and conditions. And yeah, so basically for the next 24 months, you also can pay like the preferential amount, which will be something around 400 zloty. And then after that, after you finish this 24 months period, you also have like some special preferential rules, but then this will only be for those people who have smaller income. So there is like this 120,000, if I'm not mistaken. If you have lower income than that, then you will be able to pay preferential social security fees. But if not, then you will pay the general amount, which will be the minimum of 1,600. So this is also something to bear in mind. And yet again, if you have a good accountant, then usually they also do ZUS for you. And this is also great because like every month, right now not every month, but still, you have to register. So, you know, there is for ZUS A, ZUS B, ZUS B15, and you have to put some code. You know, first time as a lawyer, I was doing that and they were asking for some codes and I was like completely in the blue. What kind of code should I put and so on and so on. And then again, if you put the wrong code, for example, you will not be able to use the preferential fees. Okay, so this is also very important. Yeah, so basically, good accountant. Yeah, okay, so I will try to maybe speak briefly. Yeah, because also like when I was contacted by expats in business and I got like the general subjects that we should talk about and like I had the information, okay, we have like 30-40 minutes and I was like, okay, we actually need something like 5 years of a study program. So I'm trying to talk to you like in a nutshell and, you know, just to give you a brief overview and like what you need to pay attention and have some like general idea about it. Yeah, so this was like the one-person company. So basically it is much easier to register. You don't pay any fees and so on, but not every foreigner can do it. So in most of the cases, especially if you are new in Poland, you will be obliged to register a limited liability company, corporation here in Poland. And again, this is much more complicated. And there are much more requirements and like formalities that you will have to follow. So the first thing that you will need is actually that you will need an opening capital. Okay, so since this company is like this separate entity, it needs to have some money of its own. And the law actually states how much money the company has to have for the beginning. And this is 5,000 zloty. So this is the money that you need to have, and this is the money that will need to be put into the company's bank account. First step when establishing limited liability company is creating the LLC contract. So this is like the partnership agreement. Maybe just one more thing that is important to mention, because this is a company and this is a partnership, but basically you can be the only partner, okay? So you can have like more people doing LLC with you, but you can also like, you can be the only partner and you can do it completely on yourself. So this is a little bit schizophrenic because, you know, it's you, but it's not you at the same time legally. Yeah, so you need to have this contract because this is like also some kind of a statute where you choose the basic rules how your company will operate, okay? Because yet again, you will need name, you will need the address, you will need the code. So the same thing as for the individual type of business activity. But also, for example, you have to indicate how many shares there are in your company. You have to indicate how will the company be managed and who will be able to represent your company, okay? But because, for example, if you have this separate entity and if you have two partners, then if you want to do something, then you have to decide, can only one partner, for example, you have to rent the offices. Is it possible for only one partner to go and sign the rental contract, or actually both of them have to be there and both of them have to sign because otherwise it will be null and void. Okay, so this is something that you already have to decide in the beginning, and this is something that has to be described and like in this like founding act, let's call it like that. So this is the first thing you will do. The second thing you will do is you will have to appoint the management board, okay? Because on one hand, in this type of company, you have the partners, so you have the owners, but they can be separate from people who actually manage the company. Okay, so you have to appoint the management, and also like the step before, once you are creating this like foundation act, you have to decide who appoints the management and how the management will be appointed, or maybe for how long, and so on and so on. And then you actually have to choose the specific people that will be on the management board. And now, once you have this, you will have to do the court registration. And again, here you have to register with the court, and also it also means that you will need to cover the registration fees. Now, you have two possibilities how to do the court registration. So one is that you can go in person, or the second is that you can go online. And also you have like two types of registrations, because like right now they did this possibility that if you want to go for a very simple limited liability company, then they actually propose a ready-made, this partnership agreement, like a ready-made. Okay, so you go for this one. You don't choose your individual rules, how you want it all organized and how you want it all structured. You go for what they propose, and then the registration is a little bit more simple, and then also the registration fees are a little bit lower. Or if you actually want to go into more detail, maybe your partnership will be more complicated, your business will be more complicated legally, and you want to tailor it exactly to your needs and not go like with the general script, then you can also do it. But then first of all, this agreement will have to be signed before a notary, so you will have to cover the fee of the notary and also of the sworn translator. And then also the court registration fee will be a little bit higher. Now, taxation I already mentioned. What is the tricky part here is that there is a double taxation, because there is a corporate income tax, and then there will be the personal income tax once the income is actually given to the owners. Pregon and ZUS, so basically here the same rules apply as with the individual company, so it will be done for you automatically, but still ZUS you have to remember, because you will have to register with them. What is important though with ZUS, because basically the general rule with the LLC is that once you are the owner of the LLC, you actually don't have to pay for the social security, but there is an exception. If you are the sole partner that creates the LLC, then actually you do have to pay the social security. Okay, so if you will open the LLC as the only partner, you will have to actually pay for the social security. So some people actually will decide to find a partner and to do a partnership for some specific reason. Here for you, this is also important, because basically if you are applying for some kind of a residency permit in Poland, then generally they always require you to have health insurance. Okay, so for you, actually, it might be okay to pay the social security fees, because then you also have the health insurance, and when you apply for temporary residence permit, this requirement is met, and at least you don't have any problems there. Now, next thing, which we will be opening a bank account, because your company will need a separate bank account. Again, if you are the individual, your company is you, your bank account is your company's bank account, and there is no problem. Here, since we have a separate entity, this separate entity needs its own bank account. Usually, the bank will not open the account before the company is actually registered. So they will wait for registration, and only after the registration, they will open the bank account for you. One more thing to remember is that also if you run the LLC, you have reporting obligations. Like annually, you have to prepare the financial statement, which have to be submitted to the court. And then it is also public, so everybody can see. Right now also they can check it online. How is your company doing financially? So this is like one more, let's say, burden that you have if you are running the LLC. An important thing to remember, and something that will be used all the time once you will actually have the LLC type of business, is KRS. This is like the letters for the National Court Registry, because once you register, your company will get its own personal number, which will be called the KRS number. Okay, and then when, for example, if you work with other business partners and you want to check their registration, then also there is like the KRS search machine, And if you put this KRS number, then you will find detailed information about the company, who is the owner, who can sign the documents, what their financial situation, and so on and so on. So this KRS is very important. Once you have the registration finished, you get it. Yes, okay, so now also quickly about obtaining a work permit or a residence permit based on business, because as I mentioned before, running a business is actually considered employment, like working, so you will need a work permit to be able to run a business, be it the individual, be it the corporate, if you are in the management board, so you are actually the one who is working on behalf of the company. And here there are general 2 requirements that you need to show if you want to get the work permit. So first one is about the income. So your company should get the income, which may be calculated differently every year and which is different for every region of Poland. But here in Krakow, in our voivodeship, it would right now be around 94,000 annually of income that you have to show. And the second requirement is about employment. So your company should employ at least 2 Polish citizens or at least 2 foreigners who don't need a work permit full-time in order to be able to get a work permit. Now, if your company already exists for some time and you can show that for the past year these requirements are met, then the situation is quite easy. But it is completely different once you are only opening your own company, because you cannot show these requirements yet. So in that situation, what is very important is to have a very good business plan. And this is important both for the work permit and if you apply for a temporary residence permit based on running your business. You have to show them a good business plan and it has to be supported by documents, okay? So for example, the easiest way would be, for example, for people who work in IT and they want to go to B2B system, okay? Because basically their business plan will not be that complicated, that they don't have many costs, and at the same time they can prove to the migration office that they can have like a stable contract with a big company that will actually give them quite a good income. If you have other type of business, it might be more complicated, because basically you have to convince the migration office that your business idea is good enough and is strong enough and you have enough experience and your financial situation is good enough for you to actually start this business and for this business to be successful. And obtaining a residence permit, because also like work permit is one thing, but the second thing is also if you are running a business here in Poland, then this can be your main purpose of stay here, and you can actually apply for your temporary residence permit based on the fact that you are running a business here in Poland. But it has to be mentioned here that applying for a temporary residence permit based on business is the most tricky TRC procedure we have. So for example, if you here in Krakow, if you have a rejection of TRC, the most of rejection is for the business type residence permit. Why? Because most of these applications are based on the businesses that are only just being opened. So again, we have to show a good business plan. And this is like the individual discretion of every single inspector, whether your business plan is strong enough or not. Okay? So you have to be prepared. I mean, it's possible, of course, to get it. So I don't want to discourage you from doing that. What I want to say is that you have to be really well prepared. Okay, so you need to have invoices, you need to have bank account, you need to have money, like you really need to have it well worked out in order to apply for a residence permit based on that. Here also what is important, because you will have this requirement of income and employment which concerns your company, but also you have your personal requirements. So you have to show that you have insurance. So here, for example, this is why it is important maybe to actually pay the social security if you are like the sole owner of the LLC. You have to show that you have a place of residence, so you need some type of rental contract or a document like that. And you also need a personal income. And here it is also important, because if your only source of income is actually your business, and if this is the LLC, then LLC in general does not give you income every month, right? Because if you are, okay, we are getting into a tricky area. But if you want to open an LLC and you will be the sole partner, then please speak to someone before applying for a temporary residence permit based on that, because you will have to show the income requirement. There is a way to do it, okay? But it has to be done in a very specific way. Okay, and now as I mentioned, so here you have some more information that you can find. As I already said, unfortunately, this is in Polish, but still, I am giving you like the government-run websites, okay? So they should be credible and they should have credible information. This is for the one-man business. This is for registration, the LLC, but also for looking like finding other business partners that have the LLC registered. This is the website of the migration office in Krakow if you want to apply for a temporary residence permit. And also this is some government-run website which concerns lots of different information about running business here. So this is, I could invite you to go there. The last one, so our Migrant Info Point that is actually here. So we very warmly welcome you. We have our consultants here every day, Monday till Friday, but also me and my friend, we provide legal consultations every Tuesday, okay? So if you will have some more detailed questions and if you would like to get some general consultations with us, then you are always very kindly and very warmly come. This is for free. This is completely for free also. Yeah, so we are sponsored by the municipality here. So again, you are very kindly and warmly welcome. So thank you very much. I know it's been a tough subject. I know it's late, but I hope you could still get some interesting information from that. And I will stay like maybe 5-10 minutes more. So if you will have some questions after, then maybe we can still discuss it after we do the formal wrapping up of the meeting. Yeah, okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Just wanted to ask you about this new kind of company system which started, which is called PASA, Prosta Spółka Akcyjna, which is much more simpler than LLC and requires much less capital. Would you recommend this for someone who is starting their company?
Since this is new, always what is new, you don't really know exactly how it will work, okay? So also me, I would say honestly, I don't have enough experience with this Prosta Spółka Akcyjna, that the simple share capital company, to be able to advise you now. So I think it would be good to speak in more detail to know exactly also like what is your business, because it is very difficult here to give advice in general. You need to know exactly what a person wants to do and how to be able to give this kind of advice. Yes, but again, this is something new, so when it is new, sometimes it gets tricky. Yes, okay, thank you.
Excuse me. About the taxation you were saying a while ago, could you please tell me how are there different taxation forms for the different companies, or every company has the same type of form?
Again, taxation is a completely different universe. So the question concerned taxes, I wouldn't feel comfortable answering them here. You have many forms, you have many rules, you have many definitions. So here again, have a good accountant or have a good tax advisor that will be able to help you with that. Basically, what I want to convey, the general idea is that if you have this individual one-man business, then you have these 3 types of taxation that you can actually choose from, okay? So you are not bound by the general rules which are for everyone, but you can choose something for you that will be tailored to your type of business. If you have to open the LLC, if you have to or you open the LLC, then you will not have a choice like that, okay? And the taxation will depend on exactly what you are doing and how. If you are selling, if you are doing something else, okay?
I have my own sole proprietorship business. So my wife is also paying for the ZUS through her corporate contribution, and I am paying for the ZUS separately. So is it like a double ZUS payment and something that I can cancel through my wife?
Here again, it's good to consult because there are some rules. Because indeed, sometimes if you are actually employed and you have full-time employment, then you will not have to pay again ZUS, okay? But it depends what kind of employment you have, what kind of contract you have, what kind of salary you have, and so on and so on. So it is possible that you don't have to pay twice the same amount, especially twice the full amount twice. But again, it is good to talk about individually about your situation. But it's very much possible that there are some rules that will allow you to not pay at least from one of those places. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You can have different type of PKD, so that different type of activities, but still this is like the same business, the same person.
Because you mentioned that the work permit is requirement for running the business in Poland, but how to prove? Because the company doesn't exist, so it doesn't have income. How to say that because for me it doesn't work, this kind of
the one thing I didn't mention, because like basically they allow you to run your business for 6 months without a work permit, but after 6 months you already need to have it. And as I said, those requirements you have, like if the company is already existing and you can already prove income or employment for the past year, then you are fine because you can show that. But if this is a new company that was registered a week ago and you already have to apply for a work permit or for a residence permit, then what you need is a good business plan. Because in that case, you need to convince the migration office that you have a very good business idea with quite a good chance of success. Okay, so you are not showing them, look, I'm already making a huge profit. Okay, but you are showing them, look, I have a good idea, I have a good experience. I've been already doing like this similar type of activity for many years, but for example, I was employed. Now I want to go on my own. So I have very good financial situation. I have very good idea. I already have many partners that say that they will actually work with me. I already have the offices. I already have the people that will work for me, and so on and so on. So if you show them a very good business plan like that, and you will convince them, look, in the future, I will have no problem with meeting your requirements, okay? So then they will be able to give you your work permit. Okay, why is that? This is also because that there were some people that, they wanted to get a residence permit, but there was actually they had no way to do that. So they would just like register my business and I will apply for a residence permit based on that. But actually, what will my business do? Nothing, right? So this is why they actually verify it, and this is why they want to see a good business plan. Also, that they even mention it officially on their website. For example, if you are only opening, then quite often in the beginning you have to make big investments, okay? So your income will actually be, especially in the first stages of your business, will be lower. And then this is also fine for them, as long as you can show that your investments are justified, and then there is a chance of success once you make them.
So it's possible to run business without work permit for a short period.
For the first 6 months, you don't need, but then you will. But also, please bear in mind that applying for a work permit takes time. You will not get a work permit within a week. So if a client comes to me, then I always suggest, okay, on Monday you register your business, on Tuesday you apply for a work permit, and if you are lucky, after 6 months you get your work permit.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. I really feel that I had a master class today about registering a business. Thank you so much. It was really amazing. Your energy, everything. I'm so happy. Thank you all for your questions. I hope this has been interesting for you. And I want to give the word for our lovely Paulina, our host.
It's the third time since we are hosting the Expats in Business. So most of you already heard what we are doing as a multicultural center. So I would just tell you briefly, we are a city co-founded project that is dedicated to Krakowians. So people who live in Krakow, doesn't matter if you're foreigner or if you're Polish person, we create the space for the culture exchange, knowledge exchange, experience exchange. So you are all very much welcome to join all our activities. I know that some of you are already coming to our Polish language classes or language clubs or other activities that we are providing. That's from my side. And I invite you to follow us on social media. Info Point is a multicultural center. And again, thank you very much for coming. We're really happy to have you here, to host you at the multicultural center, because that's the place for this kind of activities and interactions.
Thank you very much. There is the QR code here, or already Ziyan gave you a leaflet that has the QR code. If you can give us feedback so we can improve, we meet your expectations, and we know what can we do for you to make these sessions more beneficial. Once again, thank you very much for attending. I hope that this has been interesting for you. It is the time right now for the networking sessions. And again, please go talk to each other, meet up. Maybe you will find your business partner, or you would like to get an information from someone who is experienced. Thanks again a lot for such an enlightening session. Paulina, thank you for hosting again. Thank you so much, everyone, and have a good evening.